Okay, we're here today, so hey, our why, as always, I'm here to support you so you can better serve your students and your why.
I'm here to educate students about the profession of law enforcement.
All right, so those are the whys that we established in the first meeting that we had. Okay, we did our pre-observation plan. The purpose of this is to get a clear picture of reality, and we're just using one of the observation tools. We focus on teacher talk versus student talk. What kind of feedback was desired was coaching? Where should I sit? Um, I was actually in the classroom instead of the Zoom because of the date change. And then I'm here to debrief as expected on January 28th, 2021. Okay? And what data will be gathered was the teacher versus student talk, which I just established. And looking at our Danielson framework, I know you have a copy, I just brought an extra copy. And we're focusing in instruction, engaging students in learning activities and assignments, grouping of students, instructional materials and resources, and just student participation versus your talk. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is look at it.
A whole bunch of my time.
But I didn't even say anything. Okay, so we did two different observations. Also, I have something for you, a strategy book. I left it on my desk, but I'm gonna give it to you. Yep, it has like so many strategies in there. Okay, so we're under domain 3, which is instruction, communicating with your students. So if you look here, I want you to look at the data. Okay, now I'm gonna pause you for a second.
I see a lot of teachers there.
On the scale of 1 to 10, how do you think that particular lesson went?
That particular lesson went about a 4.
Okay, why do you say 4?
First time teaching that one out of my 3 classes. So it was still kind of fresh, kind of raw, and how I wanted to line things up and how I wanted to phrase things. So, and based on the responses from the students, it was just kind of the first run at it. So, in my mind, it felt a little bit disorganized, disjointed.
Okay, so you felt like it was disorganized. Okay, so that means that we want to just try to, moving forward, we want to come up with like some different ways to organize it a little bit better. And then as you progress from one class to the next, it should have got better anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Okay, all right, what did you want your students to learn in this particular lesson?
It was,
Community work,
just the basics, the goals behind community-oriented policing. What was the purpose? What led to it being necessary?
Okay, do you think they learned it?
Based off the assessment, I would say yes.
Okay, and, okay, based off the assessment, you would say yes. Based off your opinion, what did you say?
Well, there wasn't much feedback, in the classroom, so I couldn't really tell if they were getting it at that time until I saw the results of the assessment.
Okay, so maybe like a lack of engagement, which is, hey,
Yeah.
we're still on the domain 3,
Yes.
okay?
I had a little bit of engagement, now that I think about it, I had a few students, responded, but.
I would say so. I feel like you had some engagement going on in the classroom. Because
Thank you,
like, remember I came the day before, and we were looking at teacher talk versus student talk, and I was like, hey, maybe I should come the next day, because remember the first day we was gonna review them.
Right.
And then when I looked at both, then, hey, I saw like a big difference in that.
That one girl said about her stepdad, so.
Yeah. Alright, so, okay, now, we wanna go ahead. And what do you notice here? You were just telling me.
I see a lot of teachers.
Okay, so you see a lot of teacher talk. a lot of teach, so let's look at other things though. So you got teacher talking, then you ask a question, but then you have teachers talking, providing them with instruction. So if you read through a few of them that I wrote, and so, teachers talking, yeah, teacher talks, but you do have some response here, so that's good. Student 2 and 3 have questions, so maybe it wasn't as clear, cause they still had questions. Then, now, at about 10:25, it says, teacher poses a question, but continues to lecture, no response from student. So it's like maybe, what do you think, what is that, what is the positive trend you see here in your data?
Well, I was getting some response.
Okay, so you can get some feedback from the students.
Now, the time I asked that question, didn't get an answer, was it rhetorical, or, I'm not sure,
Well, okay,
can't remember what it was.
so when you didn't get an answer, it was like, say you asked a question, but it was more so, you know how we ask something and we have an answer for it already and we just keep talking? But I don't think we noticed ourselves doing that at times, because I may ask somebody something, then I just answer the question too, so I think that's what you were doing. So you will ask a question, nobody will say anything, but I don't think you were really like giving them an opportunity to say. And then you just keep on talking and you'll just answer the question. But I just think that's just, as a human, that's just how we are.
Okay.
So, yeah. And so, yeah, you did that at least 2 times.
I had one answer was given online. I don't know if I kind of said, thank you to somebody online.
I think this one right here.
Okay.
So right here at 10:29, teacher poses a question, no one has an answer, but then the student responds. So because you start talking to the one online, then.
Okay.
So yeah, I did get that, but I just noticed, okay, you asked what, but then you just continue to lecture.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the most important area of growth that this revealed? Meaning, what do you need? So we did get some feedback from students, because as you can see, student 1 was talking, student 2, student 3. But oh, look at this. Student 2 and 3 really carried the class. So that was, when we talking about student engagement, student 2 and 3, they carried the class. So out of all these, I was in there maybe like 40 minutes, you had three students to talk, and 2 and 3 did all the talking. Okay, so what's your most important area of growth?
Need to encourage more interaction.
Okay. Need more interaction within the classroom, and then, with the strategy, book that I'm gonna give you. I printed out everything before you just on my desk. So with the strategy book, you can come up with like different strategies that you can use to help, them become more engaged in the lesson. Okay? Alright, so most of all, what is your strength?
My strength is knowledge of the subject.
Alright, content knowledge, hey, and that's important, because if you don't know what you're talking about, then you're really not going anywhere. And I would say, I feel like you know how to connect your lesson with real life experiences too, because that's like a natural, I guess, by working for CPD through the DAP program, and I think maybe that helps you connect real life experiences to what's going on in the classroom. So I see that a lot too. So that's a strength too. Okay, now moving forward. Okay, so before we did the observation, we decided on teacher talk. But now look at the evidence. Should we continue to focus on teacher versus student talk? So should we do?
I think so.
You think so?
It still needs improvement. It still needs growth.
Okay, and another thing, remember when we did our peers goal and action plan last time? Okay, and so our focus there was managing student behavior, remember 2D? Since, we were out for Christmas break, and then I was quarantined, up until like last Friday, so I know we had a real.
Okay.
Yeah, so, with that being said, have not accomplished anything on the peers goal sheet, really. However, really, Mr. Spencer. So, but your teachers versus student talk, I feel like with the teachers versus student talk, that still could help with managing behavior in your class.
Mm.
Because maybe say for instance, if you're lecturing less and the kids are, have maybe like an interactive lesson where you can like chunk up your lesson. So say for instance, maybe if you're, like you had a video right here.
Mm-hmm.
Your video lasted about 7 to 8 minutes.
Right.
So maybe you can, I'm not gonna say like cut the video down, but you can chunk the video. Maybe like the first 2 minutes, then hey, you could do something.
Mhm.
Like what could you do?
No, I could have done that.
No, I'm saying what could you do? Like with your videos.
That's the first class I showed that video. So when I was showing it, as it was going through, there were several times where I was thinking about stopping it and then talking, and then letting it play again, and then stopping it. I just didn't do it. Sometimes I think that it can be annoying.
Yeah.
Like, hey, here you go again, stop the video, But I did think about that. Even the last 2 classes, I watched the video again. Each time I thought about stop right there and talk.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea to stop and talk, because that's how you can tell who's really paying attention too. Because say for instance, if we don't know if they actually were watching the video or not, because if it's just playing through, they can lose attention and start doing something else, Cause I did see like one of the kids, he was on something else, he wasn't even watching the video. The one that I was sitting beside, yeah, he wasn't even watching the video. Well, he was going back, when I looked, he'll try to go back, but then when I wasn't looking, he'll like turn it off. So I feel like that right there, you can do a check for understanding in the video too. If with the pause music, that'll be a good check for understanding. Okay. All right. So we're back to our peers goal. What we're gonna do, we're just gonna update our sheet. So we're still focusing on managing behavior for the classroom environment, which is 2B, which I feel like it does tie into teacher versus student talk, because the behavior behavior can become better managed if our students are doing more talking than the teacher. Because, you wanna, I guess, create a student-led classroom, right? They supposed to go home tired, not us, if you know what I mean. So when my son go home tired, that means that, the teacher did her job that day, cause they did all the work. Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna still, the goal is being created because it was discussed from a previous meeting, so we're just continuing on with this. And it's necessary for the success of the classroom. Okay, so our peers goal is what?
To better manage student behavior.
Okay, all right, the intended impact on learning, it will make the students feel better in the classroom and increase their potential to learn. Also, their managed behavior will make it easier to deliver the lesson. Okay, so here are some teaching strategies. Remember we went over last time? What were those teaching strategies?
To have them work in groups and small groups and breakout rooms.
Okay.
And then some kind of reward.
Yeah, and then we talked about doing the PBIS thing, the PBIS, reward system, yeah. Okay, so what I am gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and get this, PBIS presentation sent over to you. I'm gonna email it to you today, and you can, go through that. And, I'm gonna put a due date over it, of the 29th. So I'm gonna update this timeline to the 29th here. I need you to go ahead, if you have not developed your 3 to 5 rules for your students, and then we're gonna go ahead and develop your 3 to 5 rules and give you a due date of, February the 10th. Okay, or would you prefer to do like February 1st, first day of the month, which is better for you?
That's fine.
Okay, so we'll do, February the 10th on our rules. And then, the next step was explain to students the reward system rules for the semester. And so that's what you'll be doing. So after you do this, then you'll do this part. And then be consistent, daily enforcing the rules and the reward system. Provide project with upcoming PBIS events. Any events that we have, I'll let you know. So, maybe like go to the PBIS store, any of that, you can allow your students as they earn the PBIS bucks. And allow students the opportunity to utilize collective rewards. And so that's what you would do, and this is what I would do. So we're gonna continue on with this, here's the worksheet, but I'm just gonna gonna go ahead and update the dates when I send it up,
Okay.
okay? Also, I will make sure that you get a copy of this sheet, so you'll know your, what is expected of you and what is expected of me,
Okay.
okay? Alright, are there any question about the tool that we use, teacher talk versus student talk?
No.
No questions? Are you sure? How do you feel about it?
Like I said, it's just good information. And shows is there still room for growth.
Room for growth, everybody. We all are lifelong learners. Okay, well, that concludes our debrief.
Cool.
And get you something to eat.